To be with you today. I am your 12th Commissioner of Agriculture. We haven't had that many. Thank you for your support and your endorsement. You were very instrumental in our election, and we're up and running. One of the things I talked about that Texas is going through a severe drought, I got sworn in on January the 7th. January the 8th it started raining. So.
Thank you very much for bringing all that
rain. Let me just tell you a little bit about the Texas Department of Agriculture, because most people have no idea what we do. You think you know what we do, and we do that, but we do other things too. So, we represent the second largest industry in the state. It's a $115 billion industry, the agriculture industry. And even before we had an oil and gas industry, it's been the glue that's kind of helped our state together. It's always been the constant, something you could always depend on. 1 in 7 jobs in this state are directly related to agriculture. So it's a big deal to our state. And we're trying to make a difference and make Texas Agriculture Matters is our motto now at the TDA. So we do the stuff that you think we do. When you go in the grocery store and you get a gallon of organic milk, we made sure it doesn't have antibiotics or hormones in it. And you pick up a carton of eggs, we made sure it doesn't have E. coli or salmonella. And people kind of lose it from there. But we also check, we're the ones responsible for consumer protection in the state. So we're the ones that check all the barcode scanners in the state. We do all the weights and measures. We do all those produce scales, we do big truck scales, livestock scales. We go into every Kroger's, H-E-B, Home Depot, Lowe's, Tractor Supply. We go in every Starbucks in the state. You probably didn't know that, because they sell coffee beans by weight, and we check and certify them. We do gold and silver bars.
You giving those away today?
What's that?
Are you going to be giving some of that away today?
Well, I'm going to be giving some of them a good bit of trouble in the next 30 days. I suspected when I got into office that some of these gold and silver bars weren't registered and were cheating our consumers. So I checked, and we had 1,100 businesses across Texas that had registered, and we've been there and certified their scales. I put my investigative team on it, and we've been searching for the last 6 weeks, and we found 2,500 operators in the state that are buying and selling precious metals without a license, without certified scales. So we're going out this month, a letter giving them 30 days to comply, and if they don't, we're going to show up, and they're going to pay a fine, or we're going to put them out of business. So we don't. 3 things we don't tolerate at TDA: horse thieves, cattle thieves, or cheats. So we got your back. We have ball inspectors. How many of you knew that? We inspect the lottery balls. Oh yeah, lottery balls. You get to thinking about that's kind of important. There's several $1 million riding on that little ping pong ball. There's other states that have had some very serious scandals where there's been some cheating. But we have a metrology lab in Giddings, Texas, where we do all the weights and measures and certify things. And they bring those balls down there, and we check each and every one of them, make sure they haven't been monkeyed with the right weight, and they're calibrated, and they're not in balance, and all of that. So I told you we did some things you probably didn't know about. One of I guess the largest amount of effort we put into is nutritional programs. We run 12 federal nutritional programs and all of the state nutritional programs. Some of you would recognize, some of you wouldn't, but like the school lunch program, school breakfast program, state programs like Meals on Wheels, adult feeding programs, summer feeding programs. So it's, the whole agency is about $5 billion. So to put that in perspective, that's twice the budget of the state of Idaho. So we run through a lot of dollars there. One of the things first things I did is I rolled back some mandates that the previous administration had, or 2 previous administrations ago, 10 years ago, had put on our school districts. And they mandated that mothers couldn't bring cupcakes to school anymore, and made them take out all the soda machines and the deep fryers, and no more bake sales and no more fundraisers. So first thing we did, I thought about this. I thought I could do it two ways. And I decided on cupcake amnesty. I thought that was better than using executive powers to take it out. So we make sure that everybody knows that the TDA is not going to tell you what you can bring to school or not. See, we're about local control, individual responsibility, freedom and liberty, everything that this great state was founded on. And we're going back to that. Fact is, we've been doing all these mandates to our school districts for 10 years. And Susan Combs was very well intentioned. She was trying to address childhood obesity and juvenile diabetes, and I get that. The problem is it hadn't worked. It's actually, the problem's gotten worse. So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. So we're wiping the slate clean. We're telling the school district no more mandates from the state. But we will partner with you. And we're going to aggressively attack childhood nutrition, but we're going from a different angle. We're going to have Farm Fresh Fridays. We'll roll that out, where we can link farmers and fresh produce to our school districts. We're having a retraining of our school nutritionists on food presentation. Right now we're serving healthy food, but instead of having healthy children, we have healthy trash cans. And it's all thrown away. So we're going to try to reverse that and teach them how to do. We've already worked with one school and they set up a food truck, and the kids just love that. You know, get away from that plastic lunch tray and have pizzerias and salad bars and show them how to make something appealing, and hopefully we'll quit wasting taxpayer dollars and let food going in the trash can. So we're all working on that. We're overall with pesticides in the state, whether it be crop dusters, aerial applicators, farmers and ranchers that have pesticide permits, or even the structural pest control that come into your homes and businesses. We make sure, first of all, we do a background check, make sure they're not thieves or pedophiles coming into your home. Then we have extensive training and education, and then we certify them. See, we want to make sure that your pets and your children aren't poisoned. We kind of think that's important at TDA. And those are the next on my list to go after, is all those people that are applying pesticides without a license and are uncertified. We're going to crack down on them. We do inspect grain warehouses, kind of like bank auditors. Basically what we are, we come in and audit them, make sure the books are right. We measure, make sure the grain's on deposit, make sure that our farmers and ranchers aren't getting ripped off. We actually have a bank in the TDA where we make agriculture loans, low interest loans, we guarantee loans, we give away money. Let me just tell you though, if we start throwing tomatoes at me, this is a great program. See, farmers and ranchers voluntarily put $5 every time they buy a farm license plate into the TDA kitty. And a couple of weeks ago, I went and met with a young couple. They qualified, met all of our qualifications, and we gave them $10,000 for a startup operation, a goat operation. So basically, you had 2,000 farmers and ranchers picked in $5 a piece. And we think that's a good way to do business in Texas and not depend on the redistribution of taxpayers' money. And farmers and ranchers get that. We have 3 different functions in emergency management and emergency response. You probably didn't know that. But we deliver all the infrastructure grants in rural Texas. We have 90 counties that have been declared disaster areas. 87 of them are rural. So we've been in all those counties, working with those county judges, those mayors, and we have funds that we can disperse for them to replace culverts and roads or move debris or whatever. And this is the part that makes me so proud to be a Texan. When I went and visited all those sites, I didn't see not one Texan sitting on the curb waiting for the government to show up and help. It doesn't happen here. It might happen in Louisiana or somewhere else, but it doesn't happen here. I saw neighbors helping neighbors, Texans helping Texans. Now, we also, in times of disaster, are the ones that release the food commodities to the shelters that are set up. 90 counties. We didn't have one request. None. There were no shelters. They were staying with family, they were staying with friends. Church members put them up. Volunteer groups bought motels and hotels. We didn't need any shelters. And we really didn't need any emergency food other than to feed the volunteers, you know. So that makes me real proud to be a Texan to us, and I want to share that with you. We have a third function in emergency management, and that's the STAR Fund. And that's money we give away to farmers and ranchers that went through devastation, help them replace fences or bury dead animals, or maybe put a barn back up that's been torn down. But again, that's not taxpayer dollars. That money is, we raise that from farmers and ranchers and agribusiness. And again, we're not redistributing the taxpayer money. We're taking individual money and redistributing it to our brothers and sisters in the agriculture industry. And we have a lot of other functions. I think when the master summary stands up, that's my signal to shut up. So I get that subtle. Yes.
I just have one question. Can
Sure.
you do anything to save the children's lemonade stand?
You must have been reading my Facebook. That is a little bit too much government overreach. But anyway, I'm so proud to be your ag commissioner. We're working really, really hard at it. Our organic program was 2.5 years behind certifying those farms. It's current today. We had 2,000 fines that hadn't been adjudicated, some of them 2 years old. We're working through that. We're not quite there, but we will get that up, and we will keep that up. So we're doing a lot of things like that. We brought back our international marketing program. I've met with over 20 foreign countries. We've already facilitated several $1 million worth of agricultural sales to foreign companies. We even have the largest retailer in Germany featuring Go Texan products exclusively on a marketing campaign there. So we feel good about that.
How much did Texans spend to get that marketing program in Germany?
Actually, $0. The Texas Department of Agriculture is pay as you go. Our marketing, we pay for it ourselves. We don't get tax dollars allocated for that. So if I do anything, I have to generate my own funds. So we do that through membership into the Go Texan program. Yes, sir.
What about the status of GMO foods and COOL, meaning the country of origin labeling for foods? What is the status of that?
Okay, there's two different topics, but I'll address them. And I want you to listen real close on this GMO thing, because it has to be based on science, and I've looked at this really, really close. First of all, agriculture has a moral obligation to feed the people on this planet, and we have to do that. We're morally obligated to do that. Organic production is fabulous. You'll not find a bigger champion or marketeer for organic products than myself. But the fact is, we can't feed the world switching and going straight to organics. We have to continually produce more with less every day. We lose the equivalent of 3 farms per week in this state alone. So through bioengineering, we've improved our yields, less water. And there's been over 500, almost 600 studies on the effects of GMOs on the human race. None of them show any adverse effects. That's the science. That's not my opinion. That's fact. That's science. So we're going to have to continue to use biotechnology to improve the way we produce our food in this state. Actually, it's been very good for the world as a whole. Since we've started using GMOs, we're using only 20% of the pesticides we used to use. We've cut pesticides 80%. It used to take the farmer 5 gallons of diesel per acre to produce a crop. That is now 1 gallon per acre. So environmentally, it's been great. The COOL origin is very controversial, kind of hard to understand. The one you're talking about is for meats, beef, poultry, and pork. And the way it's currently written, if a feeder pig comes in from Canada, and it goes, or our feeder steer comes in from Mexico, it goes to a ranch, it stays there 6 or 8 months, and then it's sold again and goes to a feedlot, it stays there another 140 days, even though it's been here 2 years, and it's butchered and slaughtered and processed and packaged in an American packing plant, it still has to be labeled product of Mexico, which is, I don't particularly agree with. I mean, if it's meat coming from Mexico, yes, it needs to be labeled product of Mexico. So That's the RIF. Now, the House just repealed that cool ruling. That came from the Obama administration through the Secretary Vilsack, where you have to label it, if it originated in Canada or Mexico, even though it may have been here 6 months, a year, and even processed in an American processing facility, it has to be labeled product of Canada or Mexico. WTO just overruled that was in Canada and Mexico's favor, and that we need to change that. The House just passed out the new cool ruling to change that to comply with the WTO ruling, that only if it's actually grown and processed in a foreign country does it have to be labeled like that. So it's on the Senate now. If we don't change it, Mexico and Canada have retaliatory tariffs prepared to implement, and they're pretty strict. I've seen it's 100% tariff on most agricultural goods. So maybe more than you want to know about it.
Actually, a little bit less, could you, real quickly,
Sure.
GMO, I also meant the GMO labeling, not just GMO.
Oh, GMO labeling. GMO labeling, since you have to be careful of that, because I think I've just explained myself well that it's not harmful. So if you label something GMO, you probably see, we humans, we're afraid of what we don't know. That's why we're afraid of the dark. Yeah. So if you say this product contains GMO, you kind of assume that it's bad, but it's not. It's not bad. So right now, probably needs to remain as a voluntary procedure. General Mills and Cheerios were the first ones decided that they would use only non-GMO oats to make their Cheerios, and they labeled the Cheerio boxes. Didn't make any difference in their sales, but the cost of the product to produce it that way was much higher. Okay, thank y'all. God bless you. Thank you.